about the WorkShop 6. Add a car and then activate the plugin manager and click on Adam's car truck. And step 2, create a full vehicle assembly. First click on assembly, then in the text box right click and search a truck chart. Search a truck chart. Double click in MSEC tractor semi-trailer.ac. Step 3, verify the system units. We need to work with the MKKS system units, but in the guide tells you that you need to change the units, so you need to simulate with other units. In this case I choose IPS system unit. Step 4, simulate a full vehicle system. We click on straight line events and then fill on with the information in the guide. We work with 3 tests, so we need to replace the values of the velocities, the final turn, and the duration step. In this case, the final turn and duration of step in the test 1 is 2 and 2. For the second test, we need to change the value of final turn. In this case is 1, and for the third test, the final turn is 3. Step 5 is animating analysis results. We need to click on animation contrast from the review menu, then click on play. In this case we need to click on this icon. Step 6 is analysis plotting results. First activate post processor and plotting the curves on the test. We activate that launcher with F8. The second simulation is quite similar with the first, and the third simulation is quite similar with 2 and 1. We see that red curve is test engine with RPM. The second curve is blue with transmission input, and the pink curve is transmission output. We know that the engine is responsible for delivering the power to the transmission and that it leads to the driving wheels. So we see in the plot the red curve that the RPM of the engine is in the component Q, and the blue curve, the RPM of input to transmission are almost similar. For the pink curve, that's the transmission output RPM. We see that the value of this curve is different in comparison with the other curves, because the RPM of the output has a change in the transmission box. The gears of the box are responsible for this change, so the values of the entrance and the exit are different. When changing the value of the final torque, we know that we will alter the behavior of the engine and therefore the values of the transmission. Questions. 1 is, what is the function of a power takeoff unit use a heavy-duty powertrain? The power takeoff is a mechanical box that are used to transfer the power from vehicle's engine to the auxiliary component. In the case of a farm tractor, it is a rotating shaft that transmits energy to tractor from the implements. So the tractor is used so that the implements move. A transmission shaft articulated by joints to allow the change of direction, and a telescopic axis called cardan shaft. When to use an automatic transmission instead of a manual transmission? In the case of cars, we use automatic transmission when we need more velocity. We can forget about the clutch. We only use brake and accelerator. Some benefits of this type of transmission are that we don't need to make change in comparison with a manual transmission, so the gears don't suffer much pressure and don't make strange sounds. We use a manual transmission when we need more torque, or for example in the mining trucks. They need a lot of torque because they carry big loads, so they don't need much speed, they need more torque. Number 3, what are common common transmission problems, lack of pump, lack of response. The moment a driver shifts from park to drive, the car should immediately go into proper gear. For automatic transmission, you might notice that when shifting into drive or park that there is a delay before you feel the gear engage. Whining, clocking, and humming. Manual transmission will emit sounds that can be described as being slightly more mechanical, louder, and abrupt sounding. A clocking sounds when you shift gears almost always lies within a transmission. Leaking low fluid. Letting the fluid leak is one of the most common causes of transmission breakdown. Automatic transmission fluid, or ATF, is the lifeblood of a transmission as it lubricates, cleans and conditions the seal and acts as hydraulic fluid. Grinding or shaking. A car is supposed to run smoothly without any shaking or jerking, and there is not supposed to be any grinding sounds. This all suggests that there is a problem with the gears. Burning smell. Overheating transmission fluid is the principal reason of the cause of burning smell. Refuse to go into gear. If the car will not shift after engaging the clutch and trying to move the stick, take a look at the fluid to make sure that it is in the right level. Other causes including the incorrect thickness, type of fluid, and the clutch linkage of shift cables needing adjustment. And for number 4, find the traction limited acceleration for the front drive passenger car with and without a locking differential on surface of moderate friction level. The information that would be needed is as follows. In this case, I make to explain in my Excel. My Excel is in the file. I share the file with my PPT and my Excel and my link of my video. And in this case, we have the weight in front, and we have the information of the problem. We need to calculate or the the traction limit with locking differential. This is the traction limit with locking differential. First of all, I need to replace the values. So in coefficient of friction, first is coefficient of friction for the weight of front, and then the wheelbase, the division of this for coefficient friction, then division of 1 minus 8 h is CG8, in this case is 21, division 2 L is the wheelbase, then for 0.62 plus is a division between 2 for the coefficient friction, for tire size, for the roll stiffness in the front. Division 2.9, in this case 2.9 represents the final drive ratio for treat, for the total of the sum of the plus the front and rear. In this case is 1040/30. You need to calculate that, and the result is 12.62 libra per inch. Then the traction limit without not blocking differential, it's never be the same, but in this case we don't need to add this part of this equation. So we need to replace the coefficient of friction for the weight of the front, division to the wheelbase, division to 1 minus the CG height, division to the wheelbase for the coefficient friction. In this case, the result is 13.71, the same units libra per inch, and the final result is X. The operation we need to do is Fx max. In this case, we have this value is and division to mass per gravity. In this case is 12.62. Division to the total mass is 3,950 for 32.16. And the result is 129.211, and the unit is in per seconds quart. That's all for my video. Thanks.